All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me and Victoria Harper. I'm so excited. I've been waiting to have this interview, especially because I have a surprise that'll be announced in a few months. But Tori was actually one of my students in South Carolina. And even in class, I was so impressed with her. And I knew that there was so much more to her just by the questions she asked. She asked questions that nobody else was asking. She's a deep thinker. And then as we connected on Facebook and I start to see your posts and your timeline, I'm like, this woman has such a foundation of faith, but you also are well educated. So it also made me very curious, like, why did she come to CNA class? Because she is a well-educated woman. I see this degree, this congratulations, and you're raising, some dynamic kids. So I definitely wanted to introduce you to my audience and also give you an opportunity to kind of share why. Like, what is your why? Why did you come into the CNA world, and what is your hope? Because just like me, I started off as a CNA and I had a vision of where that could possibly take me. And I'll be honest, I don't think I really knew fully until I got into that role, like, oh, wow, I can become a nurse. I can do this. So let's just start off and let us know why you are who you are. What makes Tori Tori?
What makes Tori Tori is that I grew up in New York. So growing up in New York, you have to grow up really fast. And you can't be sitting around crying when something happens to you.
Oh.
If you do, the neighborhood will know that you're a crier, and then they will come after you.
Wow.
So I learned that really quickly, like to have tough skin. So as I grew up in New York, I had so many different things, obstacles that used to happen. I was a little girl that was given keys to the house to let me and my brother in at 5. So I kind of was always like a mothering person, and I was a child.
Yeah.
But I knew that when I opened that door for me and my brother, not to let anybody else in. Because I'm short, I always had to get a chair to stand on to put the chain on the door and lock the doors and things like that.
Yeah.
So I also had to make sure that me and my brother ate. So my mom will leave. My mom was a nurse.
Okay.
And she worked 4 to 12, and my dad had like 3 or 4 jobs. So we were always home by ourselves. And so it was my responsibility to take the money that she would leave on the table and for me to go down the street. There were several places down the street, Chinese, pizza, KFC, whatever we wanted. So I always ask my brother, what do you want for dinner? And I would always hope he would choose what I wanted. But if he didn't, I would go to 2 different places. But we had to hurry up and be home before it get dark.
Wow.
So I knew how to count money. And because I was small, they would think that I wouldn't know how to count my money. I was like, wait a minute, I need my change. I'm missing $1.
Like, my mama gonna beat me. I don't know why you playing.
I don't know why you playing, because I have to put that change back on the table. So you need to give me all my money. And then the man at the store, they was like, oh my God, you're so smart. How did you know? How did you know? I said, I need my money.
Right, my money.
Yeah, so I kind of like did that. And we lived in a really rough neighborhood. So I always took care of my brother. Anybody bother him, I was, make sure I take care of it, kind of thing, because I was his big sister. And then growing up back in the day, people believed in, spankings or whippings or whatever. And I always wanted to protect my brother. So my mom would say to this day, she's like, you always took your brother's beatings. He would be balled up like this, and I would literally always cover my body over his and just take his beating. Yeah.
Wow.
But, I felt like even then, by, God's stripes, I'm healed. Like, These
Yeah.
are gonna heal. Long as my brother okay, these things gonna heal. Go ahead. You know,
Wow.
I was always so stubborn. She's like, "You're so stubborn. You'll take your brother's beating." I was like, "I don't want you to beat my brother." You know.
That's
So yeah, I
amazing.
guess
That's like,
I guess
wow.
from an early age, I was such a caregiver then.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know, I think that's why I have always wanted to be a nurse because my mom was a nurse. So I
Yeah.
was like, I want to be a nurse. I want to be a nurse. I want to take care of people. And so I am a person that when you meet me or be in my presence, I want my legacy to be, I remember Tori, that she was so nice to me. Oh
Yeah.
my God. She was genuine. She wasn't fake. You know, she really cared, that type of person.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always told my employees when you walk in the door, we have to check our personal lives at the door. You know, we all have a story. We all go through something. But when I walked in that door, good morning.
Yeah. Yes.
Good morning. You know, it's like, why are you so happy? Ain't no way in the world somebody could be that happy. I was like, you have to, you know, create the environment that you want to be in.
That's good.
I want to be happy. So,
Yeah.
regardless, you know, and everybody's not going to like you. Everybody ain't going to love you.
That's true.
People to be people to try to challenge who you are.
That's true.
And my grandmother always said, kill them with kindness.
Yeah, that's true. So talking about this is a good lead point. Your grandmother was a foundational part of your life in your faith. And same here, I was raised by my grandmother and thankful that she laid a foundation of faith for me. And it's the best thing she could have given me. You know, she couldn't give me anything money-wise. She definitely fed me.
Yeah, she fed me.
You know, I know when I left home at 16, I couldn't call back and say, "Hey, grandma, can you help me with this?" You know, like it was me. I was on my own in that regard, but it was invaluable what she gave me in regards to my faith. So just tell me maybe one memory about, you know, your faith. And I love the story about the Catholic and the Pentecost. Tell us a little bit about that, how faith entered into your life and why it is a foundation of who you are.
Yeah, so I actually went to a Catholic school, but I went to a Pentecostal holiness church with my grandmother.
Yes.
Almost every day of the week.
Yeah.
I think we had one day off.
Right. I heard that New York accent when you said that. That's true. Yeah, I know what you mean. We went to church like every day and all night.
Yeah, every day, all night. And I had to take my homework to church with me. And sometimes I got so confused because we went to Mass at school every Wednesday. And, you know, with Mass, we do this here, you know, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. And sometimes I would do that at the Pentecostal, you know, Holiness Church. And I'd be, I'm sorry. I didn't mean you ain't everybody knew when my head went to going like this. Everybody, all of my peers knew what happened. I was like,
be like, this is your fault. First of all, you put me in a Catholic school, and you have me in a Pentecostal. You did this.
I'm sorry, I got confused. But it didn't take me long to get straight.
Right. Of course not. Right.
Okay, I know where I'm at now.
Ooh, boy, you miss those women, those old school, like
old school. I used to get pinched.
Yes.
You know, people think I used to, when she pinched me, I used to say, Jesus. I knew if I said something else, if I said ow, she would have got me again. So I was like, Jesus. Oh my God, yes. I had to holler something because that thing hurt.
Wow.
Yeah, we couldn't. I was always a talker. I can talk all day long. So, you know, she's like, I told you don't talk in church unless you praising God. Yes, ma'am. So then I started writing my friends notes and passing it
Yes, we did that one, boy.
Yeah, I got caught doing that.
Yes.
Oh,
I was just about to say, don't get caught. I remember our pastor, he said, he would say this, I won't say names, but Laura Weirsinger, you're talking it like, I just thought you didn't say you were going to say no names. Now I'm going to get a whooping when I get home. Like, really? You just threw me under the bus, Pastor. You threw me under the bus. My grandma would look at me like, I'm like, oh God, I'm dead.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I know I'm getting.
So tell me about like a detour. So let's go into your degree. You have a master's degree. You got a pharmacy license. Tell us a little bit about that journey and some detours and how you got back to the CNA world. Like, why did you even come into this, come back into the healthcare in this way? And first of all, tell us what degrees you do have.
So I have a master's in healthcare administration, and I also have a master's in business as well, because I wanted to get a dual master's. And when I got my master's degree, I was so excited. I just knew that all kinds of doors were going to open for me, because I already previously had a position that, I had 38 employees and 2 supervisors underneath me. So I just knew, here I am I've got all the pieces now, got both of them. Mm-hmm. But it didn't happen that way. And I was like, what is going on? Is it my resume? Mm-hmm. So I decided to get someone to help me look at my resume and see if that was the issue. Okay. Paid $110. Still didn't get the job.
I didn't pay you. Lord. I said, Lord. I have no comment on that one. Like, give me my money back.
Yeah. Is there a refund policy?
Right.
She said there was no guarantees. I was like, okay. And so every interview I was getting calls for interviews, for director's positions, administrative positions, but every single position, they said they were looking for somebody who had that clinical piece. And so when I called my school that I went to, I was like, hey, why you guys didn't sign me up for that MA piece or LPN in combination with my master's degree? I said, because I'm having issues trying to find employment in this degree. And, I got a student loan. I've had to pay this money back.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they was like, well, your counselor should have done that for you. They should have combined it. So the ball was dropped by the school and I guess by myself, because I didn't do enough research to see that that's what was needed as well. Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Had I known, I would have done all 3.
Right.
The nursing part and the 2 master's, programs or whatever. And so I was like, okay, let me see if I can get my RN. So I try to go to these different resources and organizations and try to see if they'll help me pay for it. I got turned down. And so I was like, okay, God, what's next? And then I saw something about the CNA program in the Florence area. And I was like, well, let me call the other colleges and see what they're charging. So I finally found a school that I could afford for the program. And I said, it's not an RN, it's not an LPN, it's not even an MA, but hey, this might get me in the door. Yeah. Let me go and just humble myself and take the CNA class. I'm not better than anybody else.
Right.
I'm the kind of person that if I have to crawl again to stand back up and walk, I'm gonna do it.
Come on, girl. You saying some stuff right here.
That's just me. So
you have to have that drive. Like, I love that you said that. I think a lot of times, I've worked with at-risk youth. I've been an at-risk youth. And I remember that mindset of, I'm owed something, or, oh no, I shouldn't have to do that. Thank God he took that mindset away from me, because in reality, you don't know how those detours will be. you talked about, you got married to your high school sweetheart. We talked about that, not in the interview yet, but even just how kids, obviously once the kids get into the picture, I have a few people that have inboxed me about starting CNA programs, and they're like, I'm a single mom. So we all know life happens and we love our children, but it does add another responsibility. And sometimes you need something like a CNA to get back into the game, like to get back into the field and start working towards your original vision, or maybe
Right.
it's an altered vision like yours. There's a lot of people that I've sat in classes with who were working, they have a bachelor's degree in something else in a different industry completely, but they want to switch over because they see the need that there is in healthcare, and they did
Right.
exactly what you did. But I love that statement. Like, I'm not afraid to crawl again in order to walk. I love that. I love that.
I'm not. I'm just, because God has said whatever is for me is for me.
That's right.
And you never know what this particular avenue for me signing up for the CNA program. I mean, you were the most patient,
Oh, thank you.
awesome professor that I've ever had in my life.
Oh, you gonna have me crying. Don't do that. Thank you.
I just said, Lord, I thank you for her presence.
Oh,
I thank you for how she taught me how to be patient and how to listen. Just because I am where I am doesn't mean I stopped learning.
that's it.
And I learned so much from you
Oh, wow.
because of the type of teacher that you were. And so I was excited about being where I was. And I said, Lord, I thank you for bringing me to this point.
Yeah.
With, yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. That's awesome. You threw me off by that one. I didn't expect that to come. It makes me think that I need to take a moment to encourage CNA instructors. I'm connected with a lot of awesome women who are nurses, who have opened up their own career school, or they are in the process. And I like to encourage, just like you. And I think your statement, makes sense. Like, we shouldn't minimize what we're doing when we are instructors in this role. And that's what we want as a teacher. You want to be a teacher. You want to make those type of impressions. And I'm just thinking, I'm being me. I'm going to be me, regardless. And you know that. You saw me, we laughed a whole lot. But I try my best to make everybody feel comfortable. If they baby ran through the video, like we dealt with some things. And what impressed me about your class and then the other two I taught was the resilience in all of y'all. Like, I was so impressed by y'all. Like, I was just like, look at them not allowing COVID to stop them from getting this goal done. Like that. And then you did it online, which some of y'all hadn't done classes online ever.
Right.
So y'all inspired me. And I was thinking, like, I need to sing this banner to other career school owners and other CNA instructors, so that they can know that you need to add this type of program if you can, because you will see a different type of group of students. Like, yes, the baby gonna scream randomly, yes, you're gonna have, I had one girl, I just was so impressed by her. She kept her baby in her hand, like almost on every class, maybe minus test days, but I promise you, every class, she had her baby in her hand and she was attentive. And she did that. Like, I was just like, like, I was so impressed, I'm just like, man, these women are impressive. So thank you for that. But y'all inspired me just by showing up. Just by showing up and just doing it and not stopping something that we all have never experienced in our lifetime, to stop y'all for doing, following your dreams. And that's part of why I wanted to do this interview with you too, is for others who are thinking about it, who want to reinvent themselves, or like you, who have a degree, but you need this other component, that they understand that keep going. Like, might be the way to start to get back into the healthcare field. I love that. So do you have anything that you would like to tell anybody, to encourage them in regards to their journey? You've overcome a whole lot. You've experienced a lot of victories, but you've also experienced some detours, and you still kept going.
Yeah.
So anything you want to let them know?
Yes, yes. I want to let you know that you don't have to look like your story.
Come
You
on.
don't have to give up. You don't have to do anything but just trust God for everything.
Come on.
Promise you that the world will try to snatch your foundation, but
Mm.
God is always underneath there.
Come on now.
They'll never leave you nor forsake you. I ain't not trying to preach to you, but I'm here to tell you that because of my faith in God, because I believe in who I am as a child of I'm God's child. I'm
Yes.
a child of the Most High King. So he got the most for me, and he got
Yes.
the most. He got the most for you.
Yeah.
If he did it for me, he could do it for you. I went through so many different trials and tribulations in my life, and I never gave up.
Yeah.
I said, okay, God, I know you got me, and I know you got this.
Yeah.
So those of you who are interested in a CNA program, please don't let nobody stop you. I don't care who it is, how it is, when it is. You need to believe in you and take God with you and just trust and believe. I promise you, you won't regret it, because I loved it. It was the most awesome experience that I've ever had in my life. And I have been a career student. I've done several things, but it captivated me and caught my attention, and it kept me motivated to keep pushing and keep moving on, because I know that there's great things coming, and I just truly believe that there's great things coming for you too. So go ahead and register now for your CNA program, because you have to make it happen for you. It's not going to knock at your door and say, hey, you want to join? You have to do it for you. You have to want it for you. And when you know, with all these different resources now, being able to go online, you can do it. I have children too. You know, I did it. Just, you know, it's just an awesome, awesome, awesome program.
Yeah.
So let's get started. You know, the journey isn't over, and you're never too old. You know, just believe in yourself and keep pushing and keep praying.
Definitely. Thank you for that. That is so awesome. Oh, I couldn't have said it any better than that. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Victoria. I can't wait to see how everything develops for you. And, you know, one thing I want to say too is that your degree, your license, all of those weren't for granted. I think, you know, for those, sometimes we get into a place of regret, and you didn't say that to me. And I know that's not how you feel, but I'm just into the person that may feel like, oh my gosh, I wasted so much time on this.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, he uses it all.
He used it all. That was my journey.
Yeah.
That's the journey that God is taking me through, you know. And I can't wait to share with you guys, because God is about to show up and show out. And
Come on.
I cannot wait to share it with you. So, this, you know, it's coming.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
just hold on. Just hold on. Just, you know, stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned. To be continued. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us on this just moment of what is your why? Why are you, you know, re-entering the career of healthcare? Why are you thinking about CNA? And I'm hoping that Victoria's story, I know that it did, inspired you to keep moving forward. Don't stop. Don't look back. My biggest slogan is don't stop. The most permanent thing you can do is stop, and you will never realize your dreams, and you will never see the other side of that thing. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Y'all have a good one.